Agreed. The member may do her introductions, and then the clock will start.
Thank you very much. So first of all, I'd like to introduce my husband, David, my son, Richard, and my grandson, Malcolm. And because he's not quite like the others, the executive director of OPSPA, Rusty Hicks, and then everybody else has at some point or another been on my staff here at Queen's Park. So I'm just trying to figure out who's actually here. Aisling McKnight, Shalini Nicolopoli, I always struggle over getting this right, Colleen Hogan, Jason Pichelli, Kate Hammer, Harry Smuck, Lauren Tedesco, Lavin's here, Hadisi, Megan Salmons is here now. Maura Carruthers is somewhere down at the other end of under the gallery there. Sam Andre, Alyssa Brierly, Jack Rubin, who's at the other end, Gabby Gallant, who just appeared. I think I got everybody, didn't I? Okay, so a wonderful group of people.
Member from Guelph.
So, as you all know, when the election comes around, I won't be running. I think somebody behind me here mentioned last week that I was having my 70th birthday, so I figured it was time to retire. But I want to start by thanking the voters of Guelph, who of course made all this possible for 30 years. And thank you to the two premiers that I have served under, Dalton McGuinty and Kathleen Wynne. So Dalton first appointed me as Monty Quinter's PA at Community Safety and Correctional Services. I suspect because Guelph had, as you know, Speaker, two jails that had recently closed before I became elected. Little did I realize that it was going to take 15 years to even begin to figure out what to do with an historic retired jail. So the good news is that I think just this week, Treasury Board actually dealt with some of the paperwork so that that land, or at least the vacant part of the land, can go over to the City of Guelph and they can create the Guelph Innovation District. So some projects, if you stick to it long enough, you actually get it done. And my next job was with Jerry Phillips, where I first got to join Treasury Board, which was sort of this wonderful master and the apprentice. So thank you to Jerry. And of course, I stayed on Treasury Board in various capacities for a very long time. But what I wanted to say was what a wonderful opportunity that was to begin at Queen's Park with such pros as Monty and Jerry as role models, because both of them really taught me so much. Dalton also appointed me, sorry, I've got a cold just to complicate things. Dalton also appointed me to lead the Safe Schools Action Team, and that was later extended by Premier Wynne when she was the Minister of Education. Our work led to anti-bullying legislation, the first in Canada. We also recommended revising the sex ed curriculum based on consultations which began in 2008, making this the most discussed curriculum revision ever, I think. So when Premier Wynne actually appointed me as Minister of Education, she asked me to finally get this curriculum implemented. Yeah. So it was actually, I was delighted to be able to take what we'd started at the Safe Schools Action Team and finally get the curriculum in place. And it's interesting to note that the original purpose, and still the purpose, of those curriculum revisions were to help keep students safe, whether in their personal relationships or their internet relationships. So at Education, we created a new provincial collective bargaining scheme. People are up there in the gallery who have spent many sleepless nights in hotels dealing with that. And we totally revoked the Child Care Act, which had not been updated since the early 90s. And then, of course, I became president of Treasury Board, aka Dr. No. So where we were actually, many people up in the gallery have helped me say no as well. So great sort of end to that original apprenticeship that I served under Jerry Phillips, who incidentally is still at Treasury Board as the world's longest-serving unpaid intern, because Jerry actually is still an advisor to Treasury Board, so he's outlasted me even at Treasury Board. But the great news was we were able to balance this, the budget that we just came out of. None of these achievements would be possible without the wonderful people in the gallery, and a special thank you to my family who put up with me for 30 years. It's been a wonderful journey. Thank you all.